Guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's move into our remaining sessions, right? Remaining part of our lesson. So next is political and administrative divisions of India. Political and administrative divisions of India. So when I'm talking about this, so basing for the as per the requirement and the purpose for administrative purposes, our country is divided into 29 states and 7 union territories. And we have Delhi as our national capital. Right? Delhi is our national capital. So Rajasthan is the largest. Rajasthan is the state which is the largest, and Goa is the state which is the smallest when you are talking in terms of area in our country. Very important thing, guys. Rajasthan is the largest and Goa is the smallest when you are talking in terms of the area in our country. So this is the major classification of the political and administrative divisions of India. Let's move into our physical divisions of India. So when I'm talking about the physical divisions, already we've seen that names in the previous session. So physical sections, when I'm talking about these physical divisions, the first thing we have to talk about the Himalayas. So the name Himalayas itself is known as Himplus Alayas, which is the meaning of abode of snow. That means abode means nothing but, guys, it is the home for snow. It is the home for snow. It is regarding the Himalayas. So, and in these Himalayas there are mainly three classifications. That is, the first one is Greater Himalayas, also known as the Himadri, and the second one is Middle Himalayas or Himachal, Middle Himalayas or Himachal, and the third one is Shivalik ranges, which are the most southern part of our country. So these are the main classifications regarding the Himalayas: Greater Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, and Shivalik ranges, right? So when you are talking about these Himalayas, these are very snow dense areas, right? So due to this, it's not suitable for cultivation due to its wasteland area. And the second classification is the first classification Himalaya is basing on. Let's move to our second classification regarding the northern plains. So when you are talking about the northern plains, the northern plains are formed by the alluvial deposits. Very important thing, guys, alluvial deposits. These are formed by the alluvial deposits. When I am talking about these alluvial deposits, these are bring by the rivers, the main rivers. This is bring by the main rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra. And it deposits it into river basins, right? When you are talking about the alluvial deposits, the northern place which are formed by this is mainly which brings these deposits by Ganga and Brahmaputra, which puts into its river basins, right? So due to this, these are more fertile. These alluvial deposits are the most fertile throughout our country. These are fertile, and its land is highly suitable for cultivation and agriculture purposes, right? This is regarding northern plains. Next, when we are talking about the third classification is the Greater Indian Desert. So the Greater Indian Desert, right, which is present in the west side of our country. It is a dry land and hot, large stretched land. This is regarding the Thar Desert, and also it has less vegetation. Less vegetation. The next thing we have to see is peninsular plateau. Peninsular plateau. So this peninsular plateau is triangular in shape. Triangular in shape. And this in this peninsular plateau, to the west of the northwest sides, we have Aravalli ranges. Aravalli ranges, which are the most olden ranges, which are degrading day by day, right? And we have Vindhya and Satpura ranges, which are the most important ranges of our country. Vindhya and Satpura ranges. Regarding this peninsular plateau. Next, the classification is plains, coastal plains. So, in coastal plains, there are eastern coastal plains and western coastal plains. Eastern coastal plains and western coastal plains. So, these eastern coastal plains are broader and these western coastal plains are narrower. So in this plains itself, the Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats all exists. So when we are talking about these coastal plains, the important thing we have to concentrate here is, guys, so to the western side, the rivers mainly Narmada and Tapati flows. Narmada and Tapati. So these rivers directly moves into the oceans and directly joins to form a estuary. Very important thing, guys. And on the east side, there are many rivers we have. That is Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, Narmada. Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, Narmada. We have many rivers. So these all rivers moves combinedly and join together in the Bay of Bengal, leads to the formation of delta. Formation of deltas. Very important thing, guys, we have to remember in this area. In coastal plains, we have eastern and western coastal plains. These are narrower and these are broader, and Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats also exist as present in this. So when you are talking about the Eastern Ghats, so these are not continuous in nature. So due to the gaps that exist between, these are numerous gaps between the Ghats. So due to this, they are broken, so that they have gaps between them, so that these are not continuous. Whereas on the other side, Western Ghats are continuous. So on the west we have Narmada and Tapati rivers, which directly combines into oceans and forms a estuary. And in the east side we have Krishna, Godavari, Narmada and Krishna, Godavari, Narmada and Kaveri, which directly combines together into the Bay of Bengal and leads to the formation of delta. These are the major important points we have to note here. Also, many gulf names have named after the naming of by the names of these rivers like Narmada, Kaveri, Godavari, Krishna. Do you have any friends like these names? Mainly basing on the rivers, also so many names are given to the Gulf parents. Right? Next, the classification. So I said there these rivers, the Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, which joins combinedly together to form the deltas in the Bay of Bengal. So the largest delta and the most important delta is Sundarban Delta. Sundarban Delta, which is formed by the rivers of Ganga and Brahmaputra. It's the largest delta in our country, right? Let's move to our islands. This is the last physical division of our country. So when we are talking about the islands, we have two islands, namely Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which are present in the southeast side of our country of Bay of Bengal. and the second one is Lakshadweep Islands, which are located in Arabian Sea to the southwest of our country. So when I'm talking about the Lakshadweep Islands, here I have to say one thing elaborately to you guys. So these are of mainly coral reliefs or coral reliefs I can say. So what is this coral relief or coral islands or coral regions means? So this coral are nothing but these are formed by the tiny marine animals. So if they have life, they are named as the polyps. So if they are polyps, so suppose this living body, they have life, they are known as the polyps. So if they die, they are left with the skeleton body. So what happens means another new polyps tries to grow upon these skeleton bodies and leads to the formation of coral bodies. That is the regarding of the things we have to do. That's it guys, we successfully completed our lesson. Let's meet our GK part as usual. So the sixth largest lake is Tanganika Lake. It has inflowing rivers. It has an area of 32,800 square kilometers. And inflowing rivers are Vijayjui River, Malagasy River, and Colombo River. And outflowing rivers are that is Lukuga River. So the main feature of this Tanganika Lake is when you are considering in terms of volume, it is the second largest lake. Second largest lake when you are considering in terms of volume. Or suppose when you are considering in terms of its length, it is the largest lake in the world. Largest lake in the world. That's it guys. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. This is truly Teja signing off. Bye.